don't mind tonight. Play for either.
Depends. Will your friend, the footballer, be there?
Oh, friend, football friend. Oh, what a superb goal. Stephen Moore, that is extraordinary from Ben Garuccio.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Football Friends with Ben and Steph. It's Ben here. Steph, how was your weekend? How was the game? Obviously, the big local derby against Harry Kuehl, and you boys went down, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, obviously when you lose, it's a shit weekend, isn't it? We probably just weren't up for it. I think they were, they're the big team as well. Like in Hanoi, they've won it, I think five or six times. They're the biggest team, so we're kind of a new team on the rise. That's trying to, I think, win our second title this season. And obviously we're top, we're flying. So for them, it was like, all right, they can probably knock us down a bit, give us our first loss for the season, and we just went up for the fight. I don't think they played pretty direct in the way they went about it. Pressed us pretty high, but second ball just it wasn't the prettiest of games, I wouldn't say. They didn't really allow us to play the way that we would normally play, but that's also football. You don't just have the right to play. I think in Australia a lot more we speak about that, because teams are physically quite strong. It's always like, you're going to win the fight first and then, you can play. Where here it's, I think we're just a lot better than a lot of the other teams. So they don't stop us, or they aren't able to stop us from playing. Where in this game, I guess you got, a manager like Harry that's probably seen the way we play and the style, and knew maybe, with the pitch as well, it's not the best here. If we can put us under pressure, then maybe we'll buckle, and we did. They went 2-0 up, and we scored one like 97th minute. So it was disappointing, because now the lead at the top for us is 4 points with a game in hand. So we're still doing well, but you're kind of in that territory now where a little slip up and you give Viatel, who's behind us, more of a chance. So let's see how we bounce back. We've got Ninh, who were top with us in the first half of the season, and now they've lost or not won for 4 games. So another tough game, but we just need to bounce back.
What was the atmosphere like?
It was pretty good. It was their home game. I don't know what the actual official crowd was. It would have been close to 10,000, maybe a little bit more. So it was a good crowd, obviously, for them. That, like, they had majority of the fans there. So when they scored, they were up and about. And I think there was an Aussie guy that I know that was in the crowd. He said it was quality. Like, the atmosphere was really good. So it's, even for me, to be honest, like that game there compared to when you play against the smaller teams, it's always nicer when there's a bigger crowd and more at stake. It's just we weren't really used to losing this season, and now we have. So it's literally the first loss in the league, and I think we've drawn 2. So we're still doing very well, but it's not a nice feeling when you lose.
Your gaffer's going to be under pressure now.
Yeah, well, yeah, literally, that's
over there.
That's the way it is here. Like, Ninh Binh went 3 games without a win, and he was gone. I think our club's a little bit more settled than that, like not as emotional with their decisions. But in saying that, you don't know. Like, we're out of all other competitions, so the league's the only one we can win, and now's the time to kind of win these games, because we've only got maybe 9 games to go in the league, I reckon it is. So this Ninh Binh one's big, and then we played Da Nang, who are coming bottom or equal bottom twice in a row, because we're a catch-up game against them. So, like, if we can win against Ninh Binh and win those 2, then we're in a really good position with 6 games to go, and maybe you've got the lead back out to 7 points. But things can change, and Viatel, in our favour, is actually our last game. So they can't even take points off us to put more pressure on us. Like, the title could be done going into, obviously, that last match. So that would be the ideal situation, I'm sure, for the league, and people here, they would love if it comes down to that last game. But for us, I think it'd be much nicer if it's secured before then.
How many games are there in the league there? Because you've only played 14.
26. There's 14 teams. So we got 12
Strange,
to go. So
isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. So other teams have got 11 or 10 or however it's worked. We've just had a lot of games like how Melbourne City had this weekend postponed for the Champions League. Our league's done that a lot for us, which was good. They did it in the first half of the season for us, but the problem was if we were through in the Champions League and if we were through in the Shopee Cup, we still had to play these league games eventually. So like we would have been getting smashed if we didn't actually lose in those competitions because we would have had game after game. But I would prefer that than training. The last 2 weeks, it's been what you've probably been going through is just like long weeks. You play on Saturday, you might play a Sunday, or even for you this week, it was whatever, 9, 10 days between the games before your next one. It's just too much training.
It's long. Luckily we got a couple of days off, so
Yeah,
that was
makes
a
it
plus. But yeah, it's too long.
like games is the best. Like Melbourne City right now, and I know like even MacArthur they're struggling now, but even Melbourne City like it's just better. Like you lose a game or you don't play well, or if you do play well, you're straight back out there. They're traveling, and it does take its toll. We spoke about that last week with the travel, but as players like especially because in Australia you train so much in pre-season, you tend to just do the same drills. I feel like anyway, a lot of coaches like they try to mix it up a bit, but like there's only so much you can do, and then you're just like, we know, on this day here we're doing this drill, on this day here we're doing this drill, and it's not saying it's not a good job to be going out there and kicking a ball around, but it does get repetitive.
Yeah, especially at the end of the season when you're not really playing for too much in the A League the way it
Yeah.
is. So, on to the A
You guys
League.
are playing. You guys are playing for something. It looks
Yeah.
like you didn't. I said to you before a couple of days before we went, like when I think it was it the day off or the day before the game about the game and thinking how it would go, and I just said pretty much I think how it went. Not saying that I'm an expert. I think you were pretty similar, but like neither team really dominates games for large periods. It's almost like down to moments, and you both got players that can do something special. And Juan Mata steps up with Bruno Fernandes watching, live streaming it or whatever, and he slots it. What were you thinking? Because were you in the wall or you were just next to the
No, I
wall?
was right next to the wall. Yeah.
We were right
I
next to the
mean,
wall, yeah.
what are you thinking? Like, I was thinking it wasn't a free kick, the actual free kick, so I was still angry about that. I was half like I didn't think it was a free kick, and half like frustrated that we, gave away a free kick like that on the edge of the box when he was not really going anywhere. And then he puts the top corner, and you're like, what can you even say? Like, I turn around, I see it's posting in top corner. Like, I just picked up H in the goal. I said, not much you can do about that. I don't think it would have mattered who's in goal. Like, you just can't save that. So the only positive was I got the feature. I got the feature on Bruno Fernandes' story. I don't know why he didn't tag me as well.
Yeah, a bit shit by him, but obviously he's just looking after his close mates, not his fringe mates. But it was yeah, it was just like yeah, I didn't really see that. I didn't look too much into the free kick, but I was watching it when I got home, and I kind of saw something on Instagram, like in my explore page about a goal. So I was like, fuck, like it looks like Juan Mata's obviously scored here. Like, so I quickly put my phone down, like when I was coming back from training, I'm like, can't look at anything. And then when that free kick, I was like, to Orlando, I was like, quick, you want to see a goal? You want to see a goal? Because I was assuming that was it. And fuck,
Yeah.
perfect.
What a goal.
Like,
What a goal.
it's, yeah.
He's,
But you
he's
know
on
what? Like,
flames.
you actually want, I know for you it's shit in that moment, but you want like nice goals. You want good things like that to happen because it's good talking points for the league. And then they went 2-0 up. Substitutions. I thought it was pretty harsh. I'm not saying Virgos isn't a good player, but he'd struggled for quite a long period of time, and the new boy, I can't even think of his name right now, the Japanese
And
boy,
Duka.
and Duka, like he's looked really good, I think, in games. Like I know maybe the week before he didn't play that well, but he's so quick and like, yeah, I think he looks really good. So for him to be dropped to the bench, I guess he's come on and what was it, fucking second or third touch, it's a goal.
I think it was his first touch.
Yeah, the first
Like,
touch, the swivel, and it was a good goal, like a really good goal as well, by him. And I thought, no good here for you boys. I thought that was curtains. But after that moment, it was all you guys. Did you feel like that like during the game? Like did it feel kind of like obviously the free kick you can't actually do too much about that, but once the second goal went in, did you feel like you needed to kind of up the ante?
yeah, I was just like frustrated after the second goal. I think Like, it was a good finish the way he took it and everything, but I think the way we defended it was not good enough. Like allowing him to turn and get a shot away there in the box. I think he was actually the only one that was in the box, and there was 3 or 4 of our players. So that was just frustrating. And then it was like, fuck, now we're 2-0 down. Like it's pretty late on in the game, but we were able to get one back. Stammer scored his first one, so yeah, I was happy to give him the assist, and then
Good cross.
it was a decent one. So yeah, I was happy. I was happy for him. I've crossed a few into him. He's nearly scored in a couple of games, so yeah, it was nice for him to get off the mark and good for his confidence. And then literally like 2 minutes later, it was 2-2, and then you're thinking like, fuck, look at this. Like it's basically back to. It felt like it was back to 0-0. So and then you got a chance to go on and win the game.
Did it count as an assist to Toure? Surely not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it did. I think he was probably
He was
gone.
shooting.
Yeah, gone to
100%.
shoot.
He didn't even look.
Yeah, and then after that though, we had another chance
Yeah.
with Toure again, and he's like smashed it across the face, and Stammer like just didn't get to it. So yeah, like I suppose like you go out of the game and you're like, you got to be positive. The fact that you go 2-0 down, it's just frustrating because it's like we went 2-0 down and then we don't end up winning the game. So it's one of those. I think like if you look around the results for the league on the weekend, the only team that's happy is Newcastle. Like they win and every other team around them drops points. So they're absolutely buzzing.
That seems to be the way it's been going for a long time. To be honest, in the league, like everybody else is dropping points and they keep winning. Obviously, Auckland as well have been winning quite a few games, but even for them, they drop points. And yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, like it was probably a fair result. Like if I was watching the game from a neutral, but the way it ended was there was only one team that was going to win that game, and that was you guys. And sometimes it's so weird. Like you go 2-0 up and you can just relax. Like I know it's the opposite for you where you're chasing them, but it's almost like you've got nothing to lose then. And for victory, or like, for me, when I've been in that position, like sometimes you do just drop off that little bit and be like, you know what, we'll let them have the ball here because it's okay. But the problem is when you do give teams a little bit more time on the ball, a little bit more space, they score one and then like it's like fucking panic stations. Like the momentum just swings so quickly. That's why I always think like you just need to keep playing the exact same way, and it's easier said than done, but you just do. Like you can't drop off. Like even again in our game, Hanoi FC dropped off a little bit, and we hit the crossbar. We had a few more chances where like when they were really aggressive before that, like we couldn't play through. It's hard to do it for 90 minutes, but I just think that's like the biggest thing. Like as players, like you sometimes almost just need to forget about the score, just keep playing the exact same way, and you see how if you can kind of hold out for that long. But for you guys now, do you think, I guess, top spot is kind of out of the question? Is that something you speak about as a playing group or with the staff? Have you spoken about like the goals of where you actually want to finish for the season, or it's not even really something that's kind of been spoken about?
No, we spoke probably when there was 9 games to go, and we kind of set a target of how many games we want to win from now to the end of the season, and that was 7 games, and we won the 2 prior, and then obviously we dropped points on the weekend, which was frustrating. So we've still got that same target. Obviously, it's just every time you do drop points, then it becomes that the next games you need to win, because there's going to come a time where if we keep dropping points, it's going to be that there's 5 games and we need to win all 5. So
Yeah.
that's the issue now, is that we know that we need to be picking up points. I suppose the only silver lining is, number one, we're playing a lot of games at home, and number 2, we get to play the Jets again. So
Yeah.
we got Melbourne City at home this week, and then we play the Jets after that, and you take 6 points away from those 2 games, then all of a sudden you're up there, because you don't know what the Jets are going to do this week, and then if you go and beat them, then all of a sudden you're up there. So yeah, it's the consistency, I think, that's the hardest thing, and it's not easy to win games of football, especially when you're playing. City are struggling at the moment, but they've got a good team. Victory have been a little bit up and down, but you look the quality that they've got, and then you're 1-0 down to an absolute worldie of a free kick, but that's football sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and like I guess this weekend as well, you've got Newcastle against Auckland. So like realistically, let's say Auckland beat them, you guys win your game, and all of a sudden it's back to 4 points, only to Newcastle. Like it's still tied, but you would much prefer to be the team at the top where everyone's chasing you rather than having to kind of rely on them to drop points. And I think probably the top, I'm not saying it's 100% done because obviously Victory could drop points as well and Adelaide can, but I think like the top five's pretty set in stone that they'll make finals, just based on like the points on the board. You've got Victory on 29 up to Newcastle in 40, but like Central Coast 26, and after that you got Macarthur 25, Brisbane 23, City 22. Like I just don't see those teams winning consistently enough to kind of jump up. So it's probably more so, fifth to first, where is everyone going to finish? And then that sixth spot is still available. And you guys do have a tough draw though, which is a good thing and a bad thing because you probably play a bit better in those games because there's more at stake. But is that, with that goal setting kind of side of things, was that driven by the players? Was it driven by the coaches? How did you actually like come up with that? Because I'm sure people listening would be interested to know about that.
No, it was just a collective kind of thing that we spoke about after one of the games, like in a video review, and we said, this is how many games we got, and how many do you think we need to win to catch up? So that's look, at the end of the day, you say, if whether it's 10 games and you want 8 wins, whatever it is, like obviously you want to win all 10. That's the objective every single week. I think it just kind of puts a little bit more of an emphasis on it. This is like the pointy end of the season at the end of the day, and we're Sydney FC, and I think we've got the quality there to win enough games, but it's just been, I think, the inconsistency that's really hurt us probably in this middle part of the season. I think when we're at our best, I would say that we're definitely one of the best teams in the competition. It's just the consistency that's really hurt us. So it'll be interesting. I think, I look at it, the fact that we've got so many home games is a massive advantage. They are obviously tough games. You got City, you got the Jets, then we've got Brisbane as our last away game. Then we play the Wanderers away at a derby. So like they're massive games, but this is what you want. Like this is exactly what you want. You want to be pushing to be as high as possible. We don't know what's happening with Asia for next year. Obviously the Jets are top at the moment, and they'll maybe go to the ACL Elite, and then you've got Auckland who can't play in it, and then hopefully it will be us after that, the way it's sitting at the moment. But we're still also playing for a potential spot in Asia next season. So whether we end up getting there and winning the whole thing, that would be ideal. But I think we've just got to go out there every single game and make the most of it and see where we end up at the end. And then you've got finals, and that's a whole different kettle of fish again.
Yeah. Like and I think if you get the top 2 spots, obviously it's good because you get that week off. But I actually don't think it really matters, like that top 2, because as long as you win that first week, once you then get into the semi-finals, it's the exact same. You play home and away. Almost you've had a bit more maybe rhythm because you've got to play that game. So that's always a nice thing. But it'll be an interesting end to the season with you guys. Like even Western Sydney, you think, wow, they're struggling obviously near the bottom, but when it's a derby, things change, everything's a little bit different. So I think maybe that Perth game, like looking at your fixtures, the only one I would say, depending on how it's going, if Perth aren't in finals contention, then that's a bit of a nothing game potentially. But sometimes also like that's when the other team can play so freely, like because they've got no stress, no pressure on them.
Auckland.
Yeah, and they almost had a massive upset. So we'll see how it goes. But around the grounds, obviously, you said everyone else dropped points, and you've got Adelaide, who, Wellington had been really struggling. Obviously, caretaker coaching and Chris Greenacre lost to you guys under him, and they came out and actually played pretty well, Wellington. Like, I think Adelaide definitely deserved to win the game, but, it was an improved performance in Wellington, and, they scored first. Adelaide came back, and they just probably couldn't create enough clear-cut chances. Yaya Dukali had a really good one where he's missed an open goal when he's rounded the keeper, similar to what Luca did last week. But then Luca, like that goal that he scored was top class. Like if you saw that in the Premier League, like you'd be like, wow, like what a goal.
The ball,
so I'm happy.
The whole part, like the whole goal was incredible.
Yeah, the assist from Johnny. Johnny's flying. Yeah, I saw it came out, I think it was last week. I think it said like he'd been linked with La Liga teams, and I know that like they had bid for him. I don't know if it was last season. Yeah, I think it was maybe last season, but like he still hadn't actually done that much in the A-League, but a team in La Liga was bidding for him because they obviously just see the quality that he's got. So I don't know if he's got another year on his deal, I'm not sure, but it's going to be interesting to see, if he sticks around. I think he actually would benefit a lot from staying but for one more year and to like really do well because he's still young. Like, and you've had players leave at a young age and go. Like, look at Milanovic. He's struggling. I'm not saying that Johnny would be the same, but sometimes if you can do for 2-3 years, it does help. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of talented Adelaide players that will probably be getting knocks on the door to say that they've got a few clubs interested. Who do you think from that group of young players is the most exciting in your opinion? Obviously, all the ones that you've played against.
Well, from Adelaide,
Mm.
I really like. I really like Ryan White. I think Kikianis is probably due a move because he's now played 2 full seasons,
Mm.
2 or 3 full
Yeah.
seasons. So he looks like very assured when he's playing now. And you got and more young centre backs coming through. So I think Kikianis could definitely go. I like Alagic. I like Johnny Yao. I like Ryan White. I think Ryan White's like a real good player. So
Mm.
there's a lot, but like even
Yeah.
Yaya, like Yaya's on fire as
Yeah.
well. Like I just think it's just something in the water there in
What is he?
Adelaide. We've said
23,
it,
Yaya now?
maybe
I
a little
think.
bit older.
23, born January 1st. Nah, 17.
I, I remember though,
That,
your
that, that
last
fake
season.
passport, Yaya.
I remember last season when you were at Adelaide, you were speaking about Ryan White, and he was kind of just coming in, hadn't
Yeah.
really played a lot of games. How was he when you were with him?
Yeah, good. Like he played, when was it? So you would have come to the cup game when we played Victory at Amy Park, and he played as a striker. You probably wouldn't have remembered too much, but he played as a striker that game. And that was his first game because I think we had the young boys away with the 23s. Archie Goodwin was injured, so we had no striker. And he came in and played like so well. And I was like, fucking hell, like first game, what would he have been, 19 or so, to play when he's really a number 6, 8, 10 to play as a striker. It's not easy. Like it's actually not an easy position. But he played so well. I just remember like, and again, this isn't gonna make your career, but he pressed really well and he could run and like, not trying to be like fucking English about it and just get stuck in, but those two things, like if you can run well and if you can press, fuck, that's half the game these days. So, and then you add in obviously the technical ability, his height, he's got a lot of attributes. Like I look at it and I think, fuck, if I could have been his height, like the advantage that gives you for when you're dribbling with the ball, for example, you can protect it better. You're a little bit quicker. You can get to headers arriving into the box late. Like I think he can, yeah, he can have a really good career and probably, not saying he's better than Alagic. I think Alagic has been unbelievable. But if I look at the two, just from a athletic point of view, Ryan White's probably got a little bit more because maybe he's a tiny bit quicker, maybe, but he's taller. And that does play a big part when you look at all the Premier League players. They're all fucking machines. So yeah, he's got a very good future ahead of him, and he's played a lot this season. I think there's whispers of this $3 million cap coming in next season. I don't know how the APO is going to approve anything like that without the players agreeing with the CBA. I don't know if you've heard much about it at Sydney, if they've like really pushed it at all, but I have heard that is getting pushed to the club, so they're thinking about budgets for next year and everything like that. But the one thing that a club like Adelaide, because they've done so well for so many years and they have sold a lot of players, you've got to be very careful to not sell too many. Like that's kind of because they've done so well that these guys like Alagic has now been there for like 4 or 5 years almost. Just training with the first team, seeing the first team players, how they act, how they train, how they prepare themselves, and then the Ryan White's coming through and he's seeing people like myself or seeing even an Alagic, a Johnny Yule's been there for 4 or 5 years. Like you don't want to sell too many. Imagine like, you rip the heart of that team out. Let's say a Kikianis goes, who probably deserves it. An Alagic goes, a Johnny Yule, a Yaya Duklele. Like 4 players like that. It's so hard to keep replacing them because in Europe, Ajax, for example, they can do it, but they've been having their academy for the last 50, 100 years, where I don't think our academies are set up to a point where we can actually handle losing those players. Say we as in Adelaide United, but most other A-League clubs, and that's going to be the biggest struggle with it. But maybe they do have a plan to sell only 2 or 3 and then keep the others. But It's
I think,
exciting.
but
Yeah,
I still think they've overachieved again this season. Like for me,
yeah,
where I thought they would have been before a ball was kicked at the start of the season, I just didn't think that there was enough experience around these young players. And then they've come out and like they're going to be playing finals. They did struggle for a period there, I think, when the boys went away
yeah,
to the national team. I think it was in December or January where they lost a few starters and then they had a couple of injuries. And then you had like some really, really raw players coming in. But I think as long as you keep some guys around that have at least got some sort of experience, like they're obviously doing something right. And there
yeah,
was a lot of talk about, Andrioli as well. But I think he's done a really, really good job with young
yeah,
players with not a massive budget. And I think it helps as well. I think the senior guys that have been around, like Kiddo for me, is having a really, really good season. Like you've got guys
yeah.
like that have been strong. So fair
Fair
play
play.
to
He's just
Adelaide.
played 250 games as well. It's a lot of games in the A
Yeah,
League because you don't fucking play that many a season. So to play 250, I think was it 250 A League or 250 for Adelaide?
250 for Adelaide, I'm pretty sure.
Adelaide, yeah. So he would have played
Well,
a few for the Jets as well, right? So
yeah,
not too many, but still like, and he came into the system later. So he's been a very loyal servant and also very durable to play that many games. And did you see when he got knocked over by Piper?
no, I didn't.
So it was a horror. It was like a proper like fucking hip and shoulder in AFL. Like maybe he's getting a week for that in the AFL these days. Off the ball late, and he's just coming like hip and shouldered him, and he's caught him in the face, and Kiddo's just on the ground. And when he sees red, like, and he just
Yeah.
goes, "Fuck you, cunt." And like it's so clear, and I was pissing it. Like I was actually pissing it. I was just knowing how he is, and I was messaging him after the game, and he was like, "Yeah," because like afterwards he's such a kind person. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I can't believe they got that on camera. It's not going to look great, especially when I'm trying to be a teacher." And I'm like thinking, yeah, the students you have one day are going to find that and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in trouble for swearing, am I? Well, look at this."
That's
So,
hilarious.
but yeah,
On the
it is. It's so funny. So funny.
on the topic of games and milestones, Ryan Grant that was 399 that he played last weekend. So this weekend's going to be 400, which is crazy
That's
when you
what's the A
think
League
like two.
record?
I think Topper Stanley, Broxham, Durante are around 430, 440 mark.
Yeah, so
Correct me
he'll
if I'm
smash
wrong.
them. Oh wow, Broxham. I'm just looking it up now.
I know
I
Broxham
think
pipped Topper
Broxham's
Stanley. Topper
three
Stanley,
83. I think it is here, unless this is
nah,
wrong.
nah.
Sorry,
It's got to be more.
458. 458.
458,
Sorry.
yeah. Because I obviously played with Topper Stanley at Western when he broke Durante's record. Obviously, Durante was our
Yeah,
assistant
yeah.
coach as well. So,
So he was
and
what
then
telling him
Broxy,
put him on the bench.
he was sitting there saying, "I don't know, this Topper Stanley is not looking right recently. He's getting too old, I think."
Well, you've got Broxham 458, Wilco 437, and then Topper Stanley 431. So what's it going to take? Ryan Grant's going to need to play for another 3 seasons to
Yeah.
to
Honestly, the way that guy trains and plays like every day, like at training, the
yeah,
amount he runs,
he's at
like
it.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like he doesn't look like he's a day past his prime, to be honest. Like, I still think he's such
Really?
a good player. Obviously, like you maybe lose that like inch of like sharpness in terms of like speed and things like that, but he's so experienced that you can rarely ever tell. So yeah, it's
35.
pretty
That's
crazy.
crazy. Like,
Pretty
because I remember
crazy.
when we were younger, I remember at the AIS and watching someone like him, Seb Ryle, like kind of the young boys that were coming through, let's say at Sydney FC, and he was breaking through, and there was talks about him with, I think, Socceroos or um, going overseas, and he never did back then. And it's crazy that he's literally played his whole career at Sydney FC. Like that
Sydney
is,
FC, one club man. Yeah, it's
yeah,
unreal.
it's a lot of games. He's played 21 times for the Socceroos in that as well. So yeah, if he can play, if I think that's the thing. Like, if you're feeling good and your body's good, why would literally why would you stop? Like, there's no reason to stop unless it's a family reason and you want to spend more time with your kids. I'm not sure if he's even got kids or if he's married or got a missus or whatever. But besides that, like, it's the best job in the world. Why
Yeah.
would you stop if your body's good? So maybe he's got another 2 or 3 years in him.
He's got two young girls. So,
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. What a life. Like if you can continue playing on, as long as your body is letting you. For me, it's the body, the biggest thing. Like if you know that you just can't be anywhere close to your best or where you want to be or the way that you want to play, and then you got to start changing your game and you can't enjoy it. Like, but
yeah,
he's up and down. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like, do you know how many times this year I've had the ball at left back, I'm going forward, and he'll be like making a forward run like a striker, and I've like played it to him, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing over here? And like he'll just like make like he makes the best
yeah,
forward runs. It's actually ridiculous. But like he's
yeah,
just an energizer bunny. He's up and down.
yeah,
Yeah, fair play to
yeah.
him.
Well,
Hopefully many more.
I was looking at the Wikipedia, and back here in 2008, with the youth team, he's got this long hair. So there's one thing that's definitely obviously caught up to him, and that's that's
Habana, but
he didn't have the extra cash to go to Ashley and Martin back in the day, obviously.
honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be there in a couple of years as well.
What's the plan with that though? You're gonna get something done, or you're gonna
Don't
actually go
know
bold like a Nick
if
Russian?
there's any doctors, hair transplant people listening to this podcast, slide in the
Come
DMs.
on
I've
over.
been doing the vlogs recently, so I'm up there on social media at the moment. I'll shout you out.
They might, you know what? Come here into Vietnam, they'll probably do it for cheap. I'm not sure if it will be dog hair or cat hair or
Yeah,
whatever, but you'll get something on your head and it will be cheap. So, um,
we'll
it's
see.
better than being bold. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think as an older player, that's normally where you can see it. The hair starts to go, the wrinkles start to happen, and like I can't even imagine it. But let's say 5 or 6 years time, if we're still playing and you're looking around in the change room and you're like, fuck, I'm 35, 36 years old, and there's 16-year-olds coming through, and you're just like,
Well,
it
that's how
yeah,
like well we're not that far off anyway. Like if there's 16-year-olds coming through, you are nearly double their age. But like for someone like Buster, who's obviously been around even longer than us, like I feel old, and he's 5 years older than us. So he's probably looking around at someone like even the 18-year-olds. He's like, I'm literally double your age. Like
yeah, listening to him
it's
talk and thinking,
ridiculous.
the fuck are you even saying? And he's
Like it's
not on
so
the
good.
golf train. He's not on the golf
Uh,
train.
well, I suppose like when you've got kids, it's difficult because we got Alex
Yeah,
Grant as well, and like I can tell that there's something inside of him. I know that he wants to play with us, but he just knows that he can't get the time.
nah, he was
Nah,
never come out. Never come out.
I think he's probably played with the other boys since I've been here. He's not played, but every day when we're talking about it, oh, what did you shoot? And he always asks questions. And
Yeah,
we've got the wedges like around the club, like and the little foam balls, and like he'll always just like be having a little chip. So.
yeah.
Hopefully he'll join the train
It's
soon.
tough. It's
There's a few of us.
it's hard to it's hard like even like especially if you kill like your missus interstate like Alex Grant for example. I'm assuming she's not working, kids at home. To tell your missus like, oh yeah, after training, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go and play for 4 or 5 hours, or on a day off, the one day off you get in the week, and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and play golf. Like it's just it's that's the one shit thing with being a footballer is you don't like because we play away games, so a lot of every second weekend you're away. In Sydney it's a bit different, but you play a lot of away games. So then if you do have a day off and you're at home in Sydney, to say that you're going to go and play golf, it's not really going to fly too well, or you're probably going to be divorced. So you got to enjoy it, especially you before you have any kids. The other boys that are playing, well, your Courtney Perkins, your Popovich, who's
If there's
Yuli, like
one,
those guys.
no, there's one guy that's doing it right. It's Joe Lolly. No kids. He's just absolutely
Has he got
living
a
the
missus?
dream. Yeah, he's got a missus now, so he's got
Yeah,
maybe slightly more pressure, but honestly, he loves it. So I don't think there's anything
yeah.
that's stopping him.
Yeah, well, maybe he's timed it well by the time. Like, I always thought it's better to have kids earlier so that, like they're older by the time you finish your career, where he's maybe going the other way, where he's going to finish his career and then have the kids. So then if he's doing nothing, he can be like, well, I can at least go and play golf a couple days a week, can't I?
Oh, we're just gonna
Like,
play every day, but I'll play in the morning. You do school drop off, and I'll go get him in the arvo.
yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, the life of football. Did you see Gareth Bale's recent interview that he did um, with like Gary Neville and Scholes and that?
No, I didn't.
He was talking about
We're
obviously
talking
talking a
about
lot about
golf.
yeah, talking about like obviously loves it. Like just said though, he can't be professional, but it was interesting like how in the interview, he's a very like quiet guy, kind of sticks to himself, not big on social media, never really came out and did interviews. And that's what he was talking about. He said like there was so much false information out there about him, when he was, I think it was the Wales goal for Madrid like flag that kind of went out,
Yeah,
and he used to get hammered all the time in the media because obviously he's just playing golf, and he said I used to play, I think he said once every week or once every second week, and he used to have a rule like never 48 hours before the game. He's like, but once they start talking about it, obviously over there, like the scrutiny is so big, and he was just like, I was just targeted, like constantly targeted, and I never wanted to come out and kind of say anything because I just thought, what's the point? But it was interesting to hear about it, and then like you forget like how many things he won. Like he won 5 Champions Leagues.
yeah.
They were saying,
Scored a bicycle kick in a Champions League
yeah.
final, and
So
they got
like,
and they booed him. It's fucking
and they,
crazy.
yeah, like, and he was never really respected, but he did so well there, and yeah, like he was just talking about like the golf and everything, and it's just seems like now he's obviously like talking about, was playing a lot, but he's like it's impossible to go professional now. Like it's the level he's like he was talking about like imagine you going up to the tee and you've got whatever 5-10,000 people there watching you. He said the nerves that kick in then compared to obviously if you're just going to play around with mates. He said that's the stuff that like the top level players obviously can handle, like us playing football. He said like, you got Sunday League players saying, yeah, I'm just as good as this Premier League player, or probably for us semi-pro players. All right, but can you do it when there's 20,000 people there and however many watching on TV? Like it is completely different.
That's what I find crazy though about golf, because I crumble when I go and play with the boys. Like I went to
Yeah.
Melbourne this weekend, played with my father-in-law. Like he was giving me all the confidence in the world. This guy, I go and play with the boys, and I miss one part, and they're like, "Oh, here it comes. He's going to three part," and then I do a three part, and I'm just like, "Why does this happen?" But then in football, you can like walk out, it's a full stadium, and you don't even think twice. I think it's like just the difference in the confidence you have in yourself when you're
Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
football. So you're
Well,
just
you know that you're
in
good, right?
situations. Yeah, you've been in situations so many times where I think over like when I'm standing over a golf ball, I'm like, I am actually not very good, and they're telling me that I'm not very good. So this is just not a good
Yeah.
combination.
Yeah, like if you go on like a bit of a fucking heater and everything's going well, it's like, yeah, I'm good here. But you're probably one shot away from literally just fucking changing and being like, nah, I'm a shell of myself here. And that literally is like whether you want to talk about the mindset and everything like that, it comes down to like, I don't think you can have confidence without kind of the results being there. You know what I mean? Like you do need to have results in place for you to actually believe, oh, I can do this. Like you can't just be delusional and be like, yeah, I'm fucking the best golfer in the world, or I'm better than these guys. And then you get out there and you're like, wait, I'm actually not better than these guys though. So fuck,
Mm.
my swing goes off. I'm having all these thoughts in my head. So it is like, I think I said it before when I played with Harry. That was the first. I've never played with people properly because I fucking got no mates here, and the first time we played on this par three, man, my fucking heart rate, it's
Yeah,
crazy. I couldn't believe it. Like, I actually couldn't believe how nervous I was for something that I don't even, like, I care, but why do I care if I'm shit anyway? Like, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
that's
But,
exactly right. Even if you hit the worst shot in the world, it's like,
yeah,
but like you could still then the next hole hit the best shot that you've ever hit. So it's like,
yeah.
but you get over the ball,
And,
and it's like, what do I move first? Like, what do I do? It doesn't feel right.
yeah,
Why? I'm not going to hit
yeah.
this good. So
Like,
bad.
it's like in Bali. I actually didn't want to go and play because they said you have to play in a four. And I saw the other two guys that were there and they looked good. They were probably shit. But again, I was like, I don't want to be like shit and embarrassing myself. Like, and I just bitched it and didn't even play. And it's like, well, that's probably also like our problem. Like, we want to be good at everything. Where
The
I think a lot of
competitive,
people,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are just happy to, they're just playing with themselves. Where for us, it's like, well, we want to be good. But yeah, you can see the addictive side of it, and it was funny. Gary Neville started talking about it because they said, "Oh, Gary, do you play?" He said, "Oh, not really, a little bit, but I did get into it back in the day." He said, "But the problem was like became too consuming," and he was like, I felt like all anybody was talking about in the change room, I think it was with England, was golf. He's like, and they were talking more about golf than football, and I thought, well, I don't want to be like that. Like he's obviously a very straight shooter type of guy. You could imagine he's doing everything right. And he's like, I didn't want to get too addicted to it because I felt like it was taking away from my football. Which I don't think it can take away from your football, but I think it can become more consuming than your football because you can constantly be practicing the swing, you're talking about it, and it's just like,
I think,
it's almost a
yeah.
distraction.
You could just go and spend 4 hours playing golf and it's not actually taxing. So in the sense of time, it is very consuming, but it's not
Yeah,
like it's not taxing on the body. It's not really like, maybe some people get a sore back, but I think for like
yeah,
young people that are quite athletic, like really, if you're just hitting like 100 golf balls, like you're not going to get a sore back the next day. Like for what we put our bodies through, like to go and play golf
yeah,
is very low level, but yeah. Anyway,
yeah. It's well for you if you play though. If you're playing 18 holes, you're shooting 120 then, wouldn't you? 120
no,
balls.
shot 79 yesterday, PB.
Yeah,
That's the
for
thing. I
the first
said
nine holes.
I'm not getting my money's worth anymore. I used to come out here and shoot 130. Now I'm shooting 79. I'm only getting half the shots. I'm still paying the
Yeah.
same amount of money for my round. It's not
Uh,
fair.
and you don't even have to replace your divots anymore.
Exactly. It's getting
So,
easy.
but no, it is. It's funny. I just find that stuff funny how it works. And yes, like again, like Gareth Bale spoke about that 48-hour rule. But like if you have a business, we speak about it as well. If you're an influencer, you're doing videos or whatever it is, people are, oh, look at this person. He's not focusing on football. But it's like, okay, if I played golf or if I went to some event or if I did this, isn't that better than I'm out actually being a little bit more active rather than just sitting at home on my couch or playing PlayStation, where if you sit down for 3 hours and then go to get up, your body's like, oh, fuck, I'm sore now. Like, it's actually better to be moving within reason. Um,
I think you
but
just
yeah,
got to do what is going to make you feel good. Like it
yeah,
might not be the same for every person, but you got to do what fills your cup up as well. Like if it's something that you enjoy, yeah, all right. You're not going to go out the morning of a game and go and play 18 holes. Obviously, you're not going to go the day before and play 18 holes. But like realistically, on your day off, you want to go out, even if you want to walk the course. I don't personally walk it, but like if it's something you enjoy and you feel like you're in a good headspace afterwards or while you're doing it, and like we're so competitive that half the time I'm not even in a good headspace. But as soon as I like leave, I'm like, oh, that was so good. Like even you might hit
yeah,
one good shot the whole day, but it's like, oh, that was so good, and then it keeps you coming back.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's
Like,
just it's
no, no,
enjoyable.
I agree. I think you need it. Like, it's funny for me. I'm so much more relaxed now than what I was when I was younger. I think when I was younger, I was too locked in. But I also think that's the reason why I've had the career I've had potentially. So that you can't take one or the other. But um, I just think you need to be true to yourself. And if you think that you need to stay at home and you need to eat the right things every single day and get the right sleep, and that's going to help you perform, then you've got to do that. But if you're someone that can have a little bit of more of a balance and that's going to help you perform, then that's what you got to do. And the older you get, the more you realize what actually matters and what doesn't to you. But there's still some players that are so diligent about everything, and there's others that aren't. And it doesn't mean that you're going to play better or not. You just need to know yourself. And I think like the biggest thing is like for like young players to kind of understand is like the most important thing is match day. You need to produce on match day, because if you produce on match day, you can kind of do anything during the week. Like, not saying that you just don't train, but again, Bale was speaking about that, and he was speaking about other players, and he was saying like they asked who were the worst trainers, and he said like Eden Hazard. He said he was just stinking. Like and Chelsea boys would say like he was so lazy, and obviously then he struggled in the games, which wasn't good. But some players are like that, and he said like in the NFL they train very differently. Wider in football, all players we all train the same. But he said, but in the NFL, like depending on your position, you do different things. And it's the same. Like I don't think we all should all do the same thing, because your wingers and you maybe your fullbacks that are going up and down, maybe they're getting more high speed meters in the game, but they don't need to get it during the week, and vice versa. Some of your centre backs maybe need to get more in training, and you need to practice different things. I think in football it's very collective in the approach. There's not a lot of individualized stuff, which probably could help. But like he was saying, like I just needed to get through to match day and do as little as possible. So then on match day, I was ready to go, and I know I could produce. Where if a young player can, once they get their way into the team, you still need to train hard when you're young because you need to prove yourself. But once you get in, it's just like, all right, what can you do to get yourself in the best shape to perform on a Saturday or a Friday or a Sunday or whatever day it is? And if you do that, well, you found the formula to keep kind of doing well, and maybe over the years it changes. But you just need to find out what works best for you, because fuck, you can be the best training player, but if you can't produce on match day, it's irrelevant, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Like as you get older, I think it's even more important. Like knowing, I used to be every single week. I'd be in the gym and I'd be like, all right, I need to like do more than last week. I need to up my weight. I need to, and as the season would go, I'd be like, all right, I'm squatting 160. And it's like, okay, I always wanted to because that's how we've always been. We've always wanted to work harder and I want to lift the most. Whereas now I'm like, man, I've done this for the last 15 years of my life. Like, I've got so much in my tank that not every week is a week to go and break a record. And some weeks you might not have a game. You're like, you know what, I want to push harder in the gym this week. There might be other weeks where you're like, I've got 3 games coming up. All I need is some maintenance, some injury prevention, which I know that my muscles are still good. I've done my gym session. I didn't go and lift crazy, but I got something in, and that's going to make me feel good for the weekend. And I think like that's something that I kind of was really struggling with. And then I was copying like a lot of injuries. I'm not saying that's the only reason why, but I think it's about finding about that little bit of balance and what actually you need, what you don't need, and then just finding what works.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And
So now I'm playing golf 7 days a week.
and your back's fucked. But you're swinging them the best they've ever been swung. So it's it's I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think the difference is like we're very fortunate, here in Vietnam and you in Australia, like there's not really the pressure on us. Like again, I keep talking about it, but Gareth Bale was speaking about when he went to America from like Spain, for example, he's like they just didn't care. Like if you won or you lost, it was like the next day in training, everything was good, or you could go out like for a meal, or you could go and do stuff. He's like, where in Spain, obviously, like you couldn't. And it's the same, like if you're in the Premier League or if you're at a big club in Italy, Germany, like those guys there, I actually feel sorry, not sorry for them because they're the best teams and they're getting paid all this money, but I feel sorry that they actually can't live a normal life. Like they can't live the way we live. So they need to find other ways to relax in a setting that's at their house or in a private fucking golf course maybe or whatever it is, because they can't actually do these things that we can do to switch off, because they're just constantly under pressure. So for us, we need to take it in. And even in Australia, like in the AFL, for example, there's no pressure. Like, yeah, okay, like Carlton, for example, they've lost, they're getting hammered, but you could walk the street and it doesn't really matter. It's not like if you're fucking at Real Madrid or Arsenal, Manchester City right now, like the pressure that's on those guys, they can't walk down the street. Imagine them getting seen at a coffee shop, playing cards, for who pays for the bill and having a flat white. Imagine that, like how much they would get hammered for that in the media, but we can just do that and it's all fun and games.
Yeah. They're on a different level, those guys.
Yeah.
Even like, I don't even know how you could play golf because even at a private course, you're going to have, there's definitely, they're playing probably at the best course there is. So there's going to be a lot of wealthy people, but there's going to be a lot of wealthy people that no one knows. And then Gareth Bale walks in and all it takes is like one photo and it's like, oh, look at him. He's fucking playing golf again.
Yeah.
And then like, that's it. Once one photo goes around, it circulates, someone else puts a caption on it and then a story comes out of a story. And then by the time you know it, it's like, oh, this was Gareth Bale playing golf the morning of their last game. And it's like, what?
It's it's tough, and that's I guess that's what comes with it. But speaking of pressure, the Women's Asian Cup's obviously on, and our Matildas unfortunately finished second in the group. They drew 3-3 with Korea the other night. It was a pretty exciting game. I saw most of it before our game actually. I thought they played okay. It was actually like a very up and down game, and I don't know. I think a draw is probably a fair result, but it's disappointing that they now actually have to leave Sydney. Like I think the positive is Japan's on the opposite side now, so they would meet Japan in the final. I believe if they make it there, but the disappointing thing is they don't get to stay in Sydney. They don't get to keep playing obviously at the same stadium, and they got 60,000 there the other night. So now I believe they have to go and play at HBF. I don't think the games will be at Optus. So for the tournament organisers, they would have been absolutely cooking as well, because that's a lot less tickets that you're now selling.
Yeah, but like they didn't lose in the group. Yeah. They draw against South Korea, who's a good opposition. It's not as if it's like a disaster and they've gone and lost to a team that they never should have lost to. I think coming second, it is what it is. You get out of the group. For them, it'll be like business as usual. I think the people who'll be cooking the most is the AFC, because like that's a great spectacle. Like 60,000 and record for a women's crowd here on home soil. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what what they've managed to pull. I know we said in the first game, like, it's a bit disappointing. Like they only got 40,000. Like maybe it could have been more. It should have been full. But to get 60,000, like it's ridiculous how far the women's games come. And hopefully now they've actually got a bit of a blessing in disguise, because if they can go all the way, they probably will meet Japan in the final. And then from there, like on home soil, I don't know. It's kind of written in the stars, I think, for them.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting. China obviously look decent as well, but yeah, I think Is it seem like the hype is kind of there now, or not really? Obviously, this last game was in Sydney, so you were playing the day before, but has the hype kind of been there, or has AFC kind of dropped the ball, you think, on this tournament and not really pushed it as hard as what they could have?
I have seen more as the tournament's gone on, and I think probably even just being here in Sydney and speaking to people, like I had some people that were flying up from Melbourne, for example, to come to the game. So obviously you're just hearing a lot more about it. But still,
Yeah,
in terms of like actual advertisements and stuff, like I still haven't seen a whole lot considering the games are
mm,
here. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll see. I think as it goes on, but I think they've definitely dropped the ball a little bit. I don't
yeah,
think they've marketed the crap out of it, and I think whether they're the hottest ticket in town or not, it should be marketed the crap out of, because they outrated the AFL and the NRL on Sunday
yeah,
night, which is for me absolutely crazy. But it's like,
yeah,
who knows? You know, you might have 60,000 in a stadium. Why not get another 20,000 at the Opera House watching it? Like, who
yeah.
knows? But for me, like that's the kind of missed opportunity. Is like they could have had more revenue from people not even inside the stadium.
Yeah, and I think they had 250,000 people in ticket sales. I think it was that's been spoken about. But you look at 60,000 the other night. Then you had whatever 40 odd thousand for the Perth one, probably 20 odd thousand. Like half of those are for the three games of the Matildas. I feel like even the other games, like they could have been more strategic about what teams were playing who where based on for example Vietnam. Like we had so many Vietnamese people in Sydney at our game that we played against Macarthur, right? Like more than the Macarthur fans. Like there's a massive Vietnamese population in Sydney. So I don't know, just thinking about those things, and like there's people from all over the world that live in Australia, and they're very, very big on football, but very big on just supporting their country. So I feel like there just could have been better advertisement and better placement of some of the games to actually increase the crowds. And not that that's the be all and end all of it, but if you want the women's game to grow a lot, and I think this is relative to, the way the world works is, all right, if you bring in the money, then we'll spend more money, but you've also got to give them the best chance to bring in the money. You can't just say, well, get the crowds and then we'll give you the money. It's like, okay, well, put the games on at the best times and in the best cities, and give those countries the chance to play in front of bigger crowds, and then there's more money that's coming into the game. So for the future Asian Cups, it's like, all right, this was actually a worthwhile experience. So I know it's easier said than done, and you're fighting against a lot. Maybe the digital marketing there has been a lot more of a spend. I'm not sure, but I probably doubt it with AFC. They don't seem to be the best run organisation with a lot of things that seem to be going on. So it is what it is. Let's hope the Matildas can just keep going, just because it's good for the country. North Korea in their last game. Did you see what happened in their game?
Crazy. How do you like? Apparently, that's happened before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I know maybe in North Korea they can get away with whatever they want and they can say whatever
Yeah,
they want, but like for me it's like, well, when does this come to the point where it's like, well, this is a forfeit? Like how
yeah,
long do you give them
yeah,
before it's like, no, this is not okay?
yeah. You
I
can't
don't
do
know.
that.
Like yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, they got through. They've won their group, so we've got them. Hopefully, the Matildas can absolutely smash them and then move on to China and Japan, like we said. So, yeah, I find it crazy that Alana Kennedy keeps on fucking scoring. Like centre back, she played I think number 6 in the last game, but she's a centre back. But man, she's a beast in the box. Like
Yeah, she's so tall though. Like,
yeah, but a lot of her goals are like also are like from like on the ground. Like it's just she just is hungry. Like she's just hungry to score in the box and like anticipates well, and yeah, obviously it's a good weapon to have when your number 6 or your centre back is scoring so many goals as well to help you out. But we probably need a lift from the others, like your Caitlin Fords and Mary Fowler and people like that to contribute on the score sheet as well. But that's all we've got time for. Although the last thing that I wanted to bring up was, did you see the all-in brawl in Brazil?
Yeah, wow. That is like, I messaged Daniel Pena. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's back now playing in Brazil.
Oh, is he
And
back
that's
now
his,
from Portugal?
yeah, he's playing in Brazil at the moment. And that's his old team, Mineiro. And like, I just messaged him and I was like, bro, what the fuck? And he just replied, bro, crazy, with like laughing things. So, I mean, I think it's more crazy for us over here than maybe Brazilians or South
Yeah,
Americans that
but
have maybe
fuck,
experienced
man.
those kinds of things before. But that's got to be like the biggest one ever. 23 red cards.
How was there only 23? It should have been every single player and staff member is
Yeah,
just
I
sent
mean,
off. Like, but then how does that even work? So like, you both the match is abandoned, I assume, and obviously they're going to get like long punishments. Maybe we need to look this up to see when it happens.
you
But
should, for me, they should be deducted points. Like,
like how
that should, there's
but all
no
right.
way in football that should happen.
But that let's say this happens, right? Like let's say on the weekend, Sydney FC are playing Melbourne City and fucking I don't know, Patrick Beach goes over AP and starts giving him someone and someone comes in and push and it just erupts like that. Like you can't not get involved. Do you know what I mean? Like you run in to stop someone, but
Yeah,
then
once
someone
it
else
gets so
pushes you,
big.
and once it's on, it's on. Like players were fucking running from everywhere, like doing haymakers, flying kicks, and then they're breaking it up. One guy's trying to break it up, but then as another guy's holding someone, someone comes over and punches, and you're like, well, all right, fuck this then. Like, let's just go. Like,
Yeah.
it's. I would love to be involved in one. Like, just. I think it would be so fucking. It would be horrible, obviously, and it's not in Australia. Like, I don't know if we can recover from that in Australia if that happened. The
Oh, the
fucking
game would be
the outrage from
the
the
AFL as well.
TV.
Like the other sports, I think would just jump on it
Yeah,
and say like, yeah, it's not safe. Like you shouldn't be going.
yeah. Like, but I would love to be involved in something like that, just because, like, imagine then getting into the change rooms, like the adrenaline pumping afterwards, and like you're just looking over at each other, being like, "Fuck!" Like it's almost like winning a championship, right? You're always gonna have that with those teammates. Like, you know, you've got this bond.
When you got a broken schnoz and you're walking back into the change room.
Hulk, bro. You
Yeah,
see Hulk?
yeah.
Fucking
He hit
hell! I tell you
someone
what,
from behind.
why is he
If
throwing
I
his
saw
arm?
that guy coming for
He's
me,
got to be booting him.
yeah, no, that's
Oh,
outrageous. But also,
ah,
like, all jokes
yeah,
aside, like that's terrible. Like that
I
can
know.
never ever happen on a football field. I'm sorry. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it was like whatever. He was a bit late, but then like the keeper, he's like gone for him. And then
yeah,
he's like got his knees like into his head, and he
yeah.
just kept going. It's
I, I
crazy.
I don't think the guy did anything that bad to the keeper. Like he was just going for the ball, and like he didn't like
Just head
didn't
loss.
really.
It was just head
Yeah,
loss.
it's one of those ones that like once something starts like that, like not saying it's the same, but like the Glover thing, for example, you throw the flare back in, and one fan runs on. And then everybody just does it, and it's like it's almost just too late to stop it. Like, how do you stop it when something like that's going? But yeah, it would be like what bans you're going to give players? Like, what everyone's going to get a 10-match ban. The clubs are going to
Who
get
knows?
deducted points, big fines, whatever it is. It's just yeah, crazy,
There
crazy
might be a
stuff.
few
But I don't,
spots open. They might need a centre
yeah,
mid and a left back for a Brazilian team.
that would be
10 game loan
class.
spell.
Imagine going to play in Brazil. I reckon.
I'll
Obviously,
be shitting my pants. I was like, mate, I'm really sorry. I didn't even mean to tackle you. I was just, here, you have the ball.
I think like playing in Brazil would have to be obviously I'd love to play in the Premier League and everything, but playing in Brazil would have to be the number one country for like a footballer to be like if I want to experience like proper football and the culture and everything, Brazil would have to be number one.
Yeah, Brazil, anywhere, like even like if you played for Boca Juniors or whatever, like if you were in Argentina, any of
Yeah,
those leagues, I think Brazil's probably got more big teams, like
yeah,
probably more competitive throughout. But yeah, Argentina, like imagine playing in front
yeah,
of like Boca Juniors fans. It's
yeah,
incredible. So
yeah. So well, maybe it can happen. Maybe it can happen. We can go and play there.
maybe message Pena, say, listen, if they need anyone, just let us know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. Thanks everyone for joining in. I I hope you enjoyed the convo. We rambled a bit today, but that's just the way it is sometimes. And yeah, you'll probably do the next podcast before you've even played your next game against Melbourne City. Good luck. Melbourne City would have played by the time you're listening to this, but hopefully they've gotten through against Buriram and they're all confident for your game so they can dust you guys up.
Fucking up, thanks.
Nah, I'm only joking. But anyway, good luck to Melbourne City. Enjoy the week, everyone. Champions League week. Arsenal continue on their fight for 4 trophies. Glad that Manchester City got Liverpool. Had to chump that in there. Haven't really said anything about Arsenal. Oh, lastly, we've got to put in Joe Gauci.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
That was huge.
Had to say that, man. Chelsea now away,
and the Wayne train.
Yeah, and the Wayne train, and an Aussie manager, that John Brady, is it? I think that's his name.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Tom Brady's brother, Jono, and yeah, fair play to him. Fair play. They've gotten through. They're going to the bridge now, and the FA Cup fairy tale lives on. Imagine they beat Chelsea. Fucking crazy.
Gauci was man of the match as well.
Yeah,
on
he'll have to be back in
like an 8.7 rating. So great timing for him
with
the national team.
So yeah. All right, no worries. Good chat. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. See you later.